Ryan Jarrell here for MMA News, and it's always a great time talking to my next guest. You know who it is, UFC bantamweight Adrian Yanez, who will be back in action next May the 18th at UFC Vegas 92 when he takes on Vinicius Salvador. Adrian, how are you?
Man, I'm doing great, man. Super excited. I get a fight again, Yeah, I'm just ready to get back in there. Super excited.
We're excited to see you, man. And there's a lot I want to cover with you here today. But first, I want to start with something that I believe you were watching last night, and that's WrestleMania. So,
Yeah.
what were your big takeaways? How did you like the event?
Man, the event was fun. Like I was sitting back and I was having a great time. The whole the Sunday night was way better than the first night. Night two was way better than night one. Night one, there was some couple I expected a little bit more out of the Jimmy and Jay match, uh but going into night two, man, they started off like really good with the Seth Rollins and Drew McIntyre. That one was really good, and just the way that Damian Priest was able to cash in that Money in the Bank, man. Like I was sitting there, I was just like, no way. Like I was taken away by it, man, and it kind of brought me back to my childhood watching it, and I'm just sitting back, I'm just enjoying it, like watching it for what it is, and just for pure entertainment, and like just kind of just sitting there. I was having fun. And then the main event, that to me, I was kind of calling it. Like I was doing a million stream that Saturday, and I was calling. I was like, I feel like it's gonna be like some type of all the odds are gonna be stacked against him, but there's gonna be like an Avengers Endgame type deal where like you're just gonna see people coming in left and right, and that's exactly what happened. And I'm like, the fact that we got the Undertaker coming in out of nowhere was pretty fucking awesome. So it brought me back to my childhood, and I was like, man, I remember growing up watching these guys, and I was like, now they're all in here, kind of just you know, helping out Cody Rhodes. I thought that was pretty dope. So yeah, I had a good time watching.
No matter how old we get, it's still fun to watch, man. It brings you right back to your childhood. So, speaking of that, who was your favorite wrestler growing up? Did you have someone that was just head and shoulders your favorite above anyone else?
Man, I had a lot. I had way too many. It's almost like now, and every people ask me who's my favorite UFC fighter, I'm like, man, I have too many. Like it's like I can't just pick one. I had to like lump them all in a group and saying these are some of my favorites. Again, like the Attitude Era, some of my favorites again, DX, Stone Cold, The Rock, Undertaker, Kane. Kane was one of my like absolute favorites coming up. And then Rey Mysterio. Rey Mysterio is one of those, and Eddie Guerrero as well too, man. All those guys like always like I have like fond memories of watching them going doing some crazy stunts. Oh, the Dudley Boys too. Those every single time. Devon and Bubba Ray Dudley, man, every single time get the tables. Like that was my favorite.
Yeah, there really is. There's so many legends of wrestling. I feel like at my favorite fandom, I guess time. I think it was The Rock. I loved The
Mm.
Rock. He'd make me laugh, and to me, if you can make me laugh, I'm going to be a fan.
Yeah, no, it's same. Like I like there has to be that mixture of of funny and then action for me.
Mhm.
So the fact that he had both and was able to do both was really cool. And then like again, even like with Stone Cold, always thought that though he was so cool. Like me just being the what it felt like at that time, the American badass, especially his whole gimmick was like he's from Texas, he's a Texas rattlesnake. I was like, yeah, I really fuck with that guy.
100%. How can you not like Stone Cold? Well, yeah, I just wanted to address that real quick. WrestleMania only happens every so often. So I saw you tweeted on it last night, and another great event in the books there. A lot to talk about here for your MMA career.
Mhm.
Tough fight with Jonathan Martinez. That was the last time we saw you. Obviously the lesson may be just, make sure you check kicks properly or
Yeah.
whatnot. Like, is there anything other than that, or is it just, any other takeaways, I guess, from that fight?
Uh, so there was a lot of takeaways that like everybody kind of just looks at it and just be and is just like the one biggest thing is the kicks, and it was like it was kind of hard to not look at that as like okay, well, like again, check kicks of course, but like uh the very first kick, like I again, it was the weirdest feeling I've ever had. The very first kick hit, and it just like I don't know what it was, but like it hit and it felt like it hit a nerve, and just everything in my leg just felt like it was bleeding. like it just felt like warm liquid is just like rolling down from my knee to my ankle, and I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, so in that in those moments, I was just like, what? Like, oh shit. And then I was and then he hit another one again, and then it just was just a rolling effect. Like, because I after that first one, I was like, it was just weird. It was just weird. Like my leg was just in this weird, like weird space, and then it just kept adding up and adding up and adding up. And there was a couple times where I did like pick my leg up to check, but man, he's just again, he just had the right angle. It wasn't like again, if he was kicking straight on, like that'd be a totally different topic of conversation. But he was creating just the right angle off just the right small angle and was kicking up. So it didn't even matter if I would check because he had the better advantage and better angle to kick even to to actually whip the kick around. So it wasn't just the check, it was like everything because they film studied me so much like and that's another thing that I took away from their camp. Like I'm not even gonna lie to you. I film study, but I didn't do it to the extent of what they were doing. They were doing they treated me like I was a championship fight, and I didn't have that same preparation for Jonathan. That was like more like, okay, he's gonna kick, he's gonna do this, he's gonna do that. But like again, it wasn't just the kick, it was just his small angles. It's not again, you don't have to overdo the angles and be like cut so hard. He was just small step, boom, small step. It was in real time. Whenever I was watching after like a couple of landings, it was like I was trying to make the adjustments. By that time, it was already way too late. But if I would have done my due diligence and like prepared way better in the film study area, I feel like it would have been a different story. But again, like even in their warm ups, man, they were doing everything like again to the T of what I do, and like trying to make sure that like they got me out of there. And man, they did a phenomenal job. So that takeaway of like just watching how they did their how they ran their camp to fight me, I was just like, I wasn't nearly as prepared as I thought I was, you know. So like again, yeah, again, because I was working with the Muay Thai coach, and that's exactly what we were working on. But it was again, it just was not the like it was the angles that he was making. He was making all the right reads, and you know, again, that's one thing I need to step up and prep on myself a little bit better. You know, so it was just a lot. So it was just preparation, of course, the easy one, check the kicks, and also too, like for me, like it's just making sure that I do all the work in camp and not slack off in other areas. Even though like it was like a really good camp, the studying part is where I didn't like again all the hard work in the world. Like I can go to school, do all that shit, but
Yeah.
also the reason I have a failing grade is because I ain't doing the homework. So that's the easiest way I can put it.
That's
So
a
yeah,
great analogy, though. That's a perfect analogy, and I agree with you. Like honestly, I find it kind of peculiar when I talk to fighters and they say, I don't watch tape. I don't do any film study." I mean, I have to imagine. I've interviewed you a bunch now. I know you watch film, but maybe now there's just more of an emphasis on actually really diving in and watching a fight over and over and over again until you kind of pick out certain things about your upcoming opponents.
yeah, no, that is 100% correct. Like I film study, but again, like a lot of times I film study other fighters as long as well as fighters that I'm fighting as well too. But like I didn't do it to the extent that they did. Like it was like once I heard the numbers that they put behind, like I was like, what the fuck? Like again, I have never put 17, 18 hours into film study on one person. Like that's like to me that was insane, you know, and they did it, you know, throughout the whole camp. The whole camp, I'm telling you, like from what I understand is that they did minimum about 18 hours, but it could gone a little bit. It could go a little bit more. And again, that's like me looking at that. I'm just like, fuck.
Yeah.
I got out prepared. You know, like again at this high level, it's not the it's not the actual fight itself. Most of the time, it's a lot of times it's the preparation because all in all, like I feel like as a fighter, as a complete fighter, I feel like I would beat Jonathan. But again, it's not just being the better fighter anymore. Most of the times it's just like shit going sideways again. Like he was doing one thing very on point, and he was doing it to the best of his abilities. And man, and I was trying to do a little bit too many things, and I was, even though I was doing them good, I wasn't as doing a great job as Jonathan was making that slight angle to the kicks, you know. So yeah, big props to Jonathan, man, because he kicks really fucking hard too.
And it also sounds, Adrian, too, like maybe you were compromised really early on from one of those kicks. You say that, and again, you're on point with your analogies today, saying like it felt like you were like almost like bleeding or warm, warm feeling coming down your leg. Did you feel like right out of the gate, like, oh man, I'm not myself, like I'm hurt and I'm not going to be able to do everything I need to do in this fight?
Yeah, I felt it, but again, like that's the fight game too, you know. Shit, like it's weird because I was talking to my talking to one of my striking talking to my striking coach, and I was talking. He's like, man, a fight is the only place where shit just happens. It's like shit will just happen. It like you can prep for everything to go correctly, then one thing goes wrong and it'll fuck everything else up. Like you could have the absolute best training camp and something kind of fucks up again. Like, but even again, like it's not with the I don't want to put all the blame on the first. Well, again, it's his. He did the right thing, throwing the kick again. Like it felt like my leg felt weird. I had this like warm sensation again. Like I remember, like I felt in fight. Like I remember looking at my leg, I mean, what the fuck? Like oh shit. Like, like again, like there's I know a couple points in that fight. I was like fuck, because again that shit fucking hurt. But uh, but yeah, again, like it again, it's a fight, so I had to fight my way back in there, but unfortunately, I wasn't able to. So, you know, it was a great job for Jonathan for being able to make those adjustments every single man. He did a wonderful job because again, uh, I actually stole his move. I actually use that move whenever I go against southpaws now, or if I'm orthodox going against an orthodox guy and I go southpaw, I'm using exactly what he did to me to other guys in the training room. So I'm like, you know what, that's something I could learn from, and I was like, you know what, that's a good technique. Let me try it. And I shit, it's been working. So like, hey, fuck it, if it works, I'm taking it.
Yeah, no, no, for sure. And he's got a massive fight now. He's going to be taking on Jose Aldo. Do you think he gets the job done? You think he beats the former champ?
So that's a hard task in itself, you know, because he does. Here's the thing. Here's the thing though, is that he's fighting someone who's super defensively sound, and again, he's coming from a guy who's been fighting at the highest of levels, and even then, like whenever he fought Marab, I don't feel like he was completely out of it, you know, like I like his last fight was Marab where he got for 50-45, but again, he wasn't completely out that fight. You know, he stuffed so many takedowns. He's still him and went out to go do some boxing matches, you know. So I feel like if anybody's going to stop the leg kicking of Jonathan Martinez, it's definitely Jose Aldo, you know. And I don't think that Jonathan's style is matches well with Jose Aldo. Because I feel like defensively, I think he's going to be on all his P's and Q's leading up to that fight. So, uh, in the hands department and especially his Jose Aldo whips his own kicks as well too. He hasn't been a heavy kicker in a very long time, but man, I just don't see the same strategy working for Jose Aldo. Against Jose Aldo than what it did for me, you know. So, and I'm pretty sure Jose Aldo is going to be is going to be watching that fight for film study as well too, and he's going to be well prepared for it. So, it's going to be a hard task for John, but I again, you know, I hope, like I'm like for me, this is the way I look at it, is that I hope Jonathan stops him, so it makes the fight with me being like, oh, okay, you know, well, if he did Jose Aldo, of course, it lightens the blow on my end.
For sure. That makes 100% sense.
So
Well,
I'm
that's going to
hoping
be
he
a
gets it done.
it's going to be a banger of a fight, man. Can't wait to watch
Mhm.
it. Obviously, you had knee surgery after the fight. What was that whole process like, the healing process and everything? I can't imagine it was much fun.
Yeah, it was not the greatest of times just because like everything else felt good except for the leg. Had to go into surgery and then after that, man, I had to stay off my leg, and man, it was a brutal experience just because of the recovery and all the rehab. You know, the rehab place uh AOKC, the knee center where I went to, man, Dr. Jensen did a phenomenal job, and like and all the physical therapists there, man, they did a wonderful job. And like, man, I was there 4 days out the week, 4 days out the week, just trying to treat it like a fight camp and just making sure that I was doing work every single day. And man, they got me back up and running faster than what I was supposed to be at. I was supposed to be fully training in February, but I was fully training by the end of December, but again, it was brutal, man. Like again, like oh, the surgery, man, right after surgery, I was put on a machine where I had to consistently stay on it. I had to be on it for at least 8 hours of the day. So just moving my knee back and forth, moving my knee back and forth. And yeah, it was rough. It was really, really rough just because of the fact that like, man, I like most of the time that I was laying there, I was like just reminiscing about the fight, just being like, fuck. God, I was just thinking about it, I was like, man, what the fuck? Like got so upset. And then one of my training partners, Cameron Smotherman, had a fight. So I was like, so to get my mind off of like my own fight, I started I started what's it called film studying for his guy, and I wrote notes down and everything. And so I was able to give the notes off to Cameron. I was able to watch him spar, even though I wasn't able to train at all. So I was able to kind of fill my mind up with some other stuff and in that meanwhile. But man, like getting back to training was really rough too, because I remember we have like big mirrors right next to these right next to where we put hang up all our stuff at before we walk into the cage. And I just remember just looking at my leg and looking at my other leg. I'm like, man, I had lost so much muscle on my left leg compared to my right leg. And man, it was a rough time. Just trying to get back. Like shit wasn't fitting correctly on my left side. So it was brutal. It was not a fun time. But man, I'm back to normal. Was able to get back pretty fast, so that was the cool part.
Was that the hardest time of your life mentally?
Uh man, no, that I would say professional wise, possibly. I'd say it's top three. I would say definitely top three. Top two, top three for sure. Another point in my life was when doctor like I remember with my dad and all that stuff, with all that was really tough. So I wouldn't put it over that, but I would put it in the same category as that whole area. And then also too when doctors were like it was like after my second jawbone fracture, like after I've broken my jaw twice, and the second one I remember the doctors were telling me not to keep fighting. I'm like, they're like, oh, you like they're just telling me all the possibilities that happen, and then the doctor's like, we don't like I don't recommend it. Like they're telling me not to fight. They're like, well, can I go back to fighting? They're like, yeah. And there's like I remember during that time, that one was a little bit more like that one was rough, but it wasn't as rough as like the
Yeah.
Martinez one. Like the Martinez one, I'm already at this highest of the level. I came here and and the jaw break was more like me just getting back out there, like turning pro and all that stuff. So I'd say it was pretty rough, but I wouldn't say it's the roughest because again, like
Right.
going through all that stuff with my dad and all that, like that was rough.
Oh, for sure. Hardest time in my life is when I lost my father. So nothing comes close to that. I guess maybe I didn't phrase that properly. Roughest time mentally as far as your professional career goes.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, definitely. Well, speaking of the family, man, like what is dad life like? How is everyone? Is everyone healthy? Is life good there?
Oh yeah, life is good, man. Life is really, really good, man. House, head over, got a house, roof over our heads, and all that stuff. It couldn't be better, man. I love the time that I get. This job that I have, man, is able to give me the time that I want with my family. Again, like if I do have to travel, that's very likely. Like I was out in Vegas and didn't get to see them for 2 weeks, but being able to come back home and not have to worry about going like leaving at 5 o'clock in the morning to go to a regular job and then getting home like at 6, and then pretty much eating dinner and going to bed, and then having such small time. Like I have like a good amount of time with my family. So again, this job that I do helps me spend more time with my family. So man, I'm like I'm really happy and really blessed to be in the position I am.
Yeah, and I've told you this before, Adrian, but you're very well spoken. You're a handsome guy. You do well on the mic, right? Like you really need to, think about a career after fighting as, some sort of, gig in front of the camera, commentary, being an analyst. Like what are your thoughts as far as that goes? Are you doing more? I mean, I know you do a ton of podcasts and streaming and stuff, but like where's your head at as far as that goes in the future?
Yeah, no, I would 100% like to take that route as well too. Like that is something that I've been thinking about a lot, and this is also a reason why I do like all the streams as well too. Like with, like again with millions or on my own streaming platform on Twitch and YouTube and all that stuff. Like, man, I love doing it and I love being in front. Like I love engaging with the fans as well too. But I also love like again, I love watching fights. I love watching like especially my favorite fighters, watching them fight and seeing what they do to take go into the path of victory and all that stuff. Like I love watching all of it. So for me, I would 100%, if I got the opportunity, I would 100% jump on it and try to take it, because again, fighting is only for a short amount of time. You got to start thinking about it afterwards, and that's where I'm at. So I turned 30 at the end of last year. So for me, I'm like, you know what? Maybe six. I know bantamweights are at the age, usually 30 to 34, you're in your prime, and then afterwards, it's a little bit harder. So for me, I'm like, all right, cool. If there's time to do some shit, it's time to do it now, so that's where I'm at.
100%, man. How's the sneaker collection coming along?
Oh man, it is good. My sneakers are all over here. I don't have room for the other pair of shoes I got, but some of them, I got a good amount. I got a good amount. The one that I really love though are my Dr. Pepper shoes. Those are
Okay.
still my favorite. I still haven't worn them, but I'm waiting for a special occasion to pop those suckers out. But everything else, man, I love, man. I absolutely love. My favorite ones are the SB Dunks, the jiu-jitsu ones, where like if you can change the laces to whatever color belt you are. And I still have yet to switch them out with the black laces. Just because I'm too lazy. But those ones, I love them a lot, man. So I am very scared to take them out because I don't want them to get marked up or anything like that. So like, especially here in Texas where it rains every other day, like in Houston, so it rains almost every other day. That I'm just like, I don't want to get a muddy. I don't want to get a muddy. I don't want to get a muddy. So, my white Air Forces are usually the ones that I take out everywhere.
Well, when you have like a pair of sneakers that you really like a lot, you just need to double up. You need to get a second pair and keep one on ice.
Yeah, no, I'm probably gonna do that. Like I'm more than likely going to do that. But the next shoe that I want is definitely it's either the Polaroids, the Nike Polaroids, or the I think it's the LeBrons, the Fruity Pebble ones.
Okay, yep.
The those are the one of those. I think one of those are the one of the ones that I want to get next. But uh, until then, I got to keep those on ice until I go get my next pair.
Fair enough. Well, if you like dunks, I'm sure you like Jordan ones, right? Yeah,
Oh
you a fan of
yeah.
Jordan? Okay,
Jordan 1 and Dunks are my absolute favorite. That's all I really have in my in my
okay.
collection as of right now. Maybe some Air Force ones as well too.
Have you seen the Jordan 1 special edition denims?
No, I haven't. I need to
Oh,
see them.
I'm gonna send you a picture of it. It's gonna blow your mind. Not many people, I guess, know about them. I don't know why, but I doubled up on these ones. I like them so much, and you can still get them for just a little above retail. I'm gonna send you a picture of it afterwards, so you know what I'm talking about. But I'd be interested to see how you like those, if you like them as much as I do.
Let me try to see if I can find it real quick. There was the
Okay.
so Jason, like I think I follow this Jason G Kicks. So
Yeah.
they have these, like, I've been following them. Oh man, I'm trying to see if he posted them. There were some Waterburger shoes, the Waterburger Jordans. I think they were
Jason
custom
G
made.
Kicks. That's my
Yeah.
guy. I follow him on YouTube as well. He did a video about these particular sneakers. So
Okay.
you'd be able to find him right on his channel.
Wait, no, I don't think I found him just yet. But yeah, no, that I follow him on Instagram. So I was like, I think I was trying to see if he posted those Waterburger dunks, and I was like, no, not dunks, Jordans. I was like, I was looking, I was like, damn it, man, because if anybody has the hookup on that, I would 100% take it, definitely for sure. But yeah, no, that's where I've been keeping up with a lot of stuff. I've been seeing a lot of the ones that he's posted there, the Jordan ones and the dunks and all that stuff. And I again, I'm a big fan of those. Those are my two favorites. And Yeah, I don't see myself switching.
Okay, I'm with you, man. Well, it's nice to talk to a fellow sneakerhead. If you saw my collection, it's insane. My wife literally yells at me every time the UPS guy comes up the driveway. But I'll digress. Let's talk a little bit here about this upcoming fight. You know, obviously camp, you got a bunch of killers around you as always. How has it been? Anyone new, or have you been working with anyone specific to kind of get you ready for Salvador?
As of right now, it's just mostly been Rafian Stotts. I've been working with him a lot, just in the aspect because he's a southpaw. We got a couple other southpaws and all that stuff, but Rafian just because like I see him on a day-to-day basis, like every single day, and pretty much we're at this point where we're doing everything we can to to mimic Salvador as much as possible. So just getting ready for that. You know, he's been doing a fantastic job, and also too like whenever you got a guy with better wrestling skills and like shot skills, like kind of keeps you on your toes as well too. So for me, we got him, and then we got a couple other up and comers as well too. You know, Marcos. I forget his last name, but he's a good kid. You know, who has kind of like uh, a Thai karate style background. His brother fought for karate combat last year, so like they have that funky. He has that little funky style, and he throws like kind of some good snappy kicks, and like kind of awkward stuff every once in a while. So, I know Salvador throw a little bit of awkward stuff as well too. So, been working with him as well. Got a lot of good guys coming in. Got a lot of good guys coming in, and also was able to go to Vegas and work with Diego Lopez and their gym for a little bit, and that was really cool to work with them too. So, uh, all around, just been working with some really good strikers and some really good grapplers as well too.
Yeah, I saw you posted something with Diego on the Instagram. Was it earlier today or yesterday? Well, at the end, I want to talk about UFC 300, and I'll get your picks. We'll talk about the fight with he has with Sadiq Yusuf. As far as Salvador goes, 13 TKO or KO victories. I feel like this fight potentially could have fight of the night written all over it.
Yeah, I really hope not because I want to try to get him out. I want to get him out there. I want a performance bonus, but well, this is my mindset going into this fight is just I want him hurting from head to toe. Like this, like again, like my mindset has changed from like last year to this year. Again, last year I was so super fucking comfortable. Super comfortable, and I didn't think like my position was gonna be changed, but it fucking changed pretty bad. And this with this fight and looking at Salvador, I'm like it's like kind of like a big step back, but it's almost like it was needed because again, this is where I put myself. So for me, like I'm pretty pissed off in my 2023. So my 2024, I'm like fucking coming with like a different demeanor. I'm again like again, as soon as I get to start talking about the actual fight itself, like again, I can feel myself getting in that mode and just being like, all right, cool, fuck this guy. Even though he might be a nice guy, I'm just still like, yeah, fuck this guy. I'm gonna beat this guy's ass. So um yeah, no, it's a really good solid fight, especially for me having two straight back-to-back killers. Jonathan was a dark horse of the division, and I said that every single time like I talked about him, like he was the guy nobody was talking about. But he was a scary guy, and then also the same thing with Rob. Rob was like I've been watching him since way back when. So getting a guy in Vinicius, is again, I it's considered a big step back, but also I put myself in that position. I shouldn't be here. I should be fucking in the top 15. But I did. There's no one else to blame but myself. So, I'm dealt the hand I'm dealt. And I'm gonna go out here and I gotta go out, gotta go out there and show that I'm not fucking like I'm not done. Like I gotta go out there and stop this guy. So no fight of the night whatsoever.
Okay. Well, I love that answer. He's coming off two straight losses too, so he's going to be motivated. But do you think you're also going to see a very desperate fighter? Because if he loses a third straight, you never know what the UFC is going to do. They could potentially cut him.
Oh yeah, me and him are both in the same position, except I have way more fights in the UFC than he does. That's the only difference between the position that we're in. I like we're both fucking hungry. We're both foaming at the mouth just to fight, just to get a fight and prove ourselves. And I'm expecting the best version of Salvador. Uh, and I think I get him out of there, and I think I get him out of there the first round. But I just gotta be me. I gotta be me. And the way that I've been these past couple of weeks, every time I think about this fight and I like get up to go train, like I'm in a different mode, and I'm just ready to go out there and like beat the shit out of him. But again, this is the thing too. two losses, you know, to very good flyweights. But again, he's coming up to bantamweight, and again, I feel like he didn't have the pop at 25, and I don't think he's gonna have it at 35. And I've been known to lay people out, and again, if I touch him on the chin, I feel like he's gonna go out.
Yeah, and obviously that was something I was going to ask too, just about the size, strength difference. Do you feel like there's going to be just a massive discrepancy here as far as that goes?
I feel in the power, yes, and I feel like in the physicality, yes, because again, when he was a flyweight, he was like again, he was whenever I look at his body type, he was all torso. Again, he's 5'7", fighting guys who are 5'4", 5'5", and makes him look big. So for me looking at him, like again, like we're about the same size, like almost everything's identical. So like he's not gonna have that advantage that you think he has. And he might have some type of a speed advantage, but even at flyweight, I don't think he was even that fast. So for me, like again, like if we're looking at everything kind of outside, like it should be what, fuck it, I'll say it. Like it should be a walk in the park for me. But again, that's not the mindset I'm under. I'm under the mindset that I have to fucking 10-8 this guy in the first round. If I don't get him out the first round, 10-8 in the first round, finish him off in the second. So that's where my mindset's at.
I love it, man. You're giving some gold sound bites here for this interview. As always, as always. This is what your sixth fight in the Apex, is that right?
I believe so. Yeah. Yeah. I think 6 or 7. 6 or 7.
Okay.
Wait. Contenders: Victor, Gustavo, Randy, Davey, Jonathan. This is gonna be my seventh. This is gonna be
Yeah.
my seventh fight. So yeah.
Okay. I knew it was right around there. So you're like the king of the Apex, my man.
Mhm.
Yeah, can't wait to see you back in there again. May 18th, UFC Vegas 92. Adrian Yanez, Vinicius Salvador, and a bantamweight scrap. Before we get out of here, man, I want to talk to you about UFC 300. What a card this
Oh yeah.
is. I mean, top to bottom, there's not one bad fight on this card. Is there one that you're looking forward to more than the others? Is there one that just jumps off the page to you?
Man, they are all fantastic fights, man. I really can't wait to see them all. But again, just because I was able to be out there in Vegas with them for a couple of weeks, Diego Lopez, man, I absolutely love that guy, man. Like him and his whole camp, they're some of the best in the world, man. And I really appreciate them for bringing me out, and also Cameron Smotherman out. Cameron's still out there, so uh for me, I'm like I was really excited for that opportunity to go out there because I needed a different change of pace and like kind of seeing some different things. So that was really cool. Uh, you know, and also too, man, just like seeing the work that they do, and I'm just like sitting back and like, okay, this is why they're doing all the things that they're doing now. They got some great fighters in there, uh and even just looking at like how they train, how they do things, I can understand why they're doing all the great things that they are. And also too, like a big thing that I feel like a lot of people underrate Diego striking. Diego can fucking box. He can strike, man. I liked going with him. It was like an intelligent fight. Like every single time we were going, it was always super technical, but when we went at it, it was super hard and technical. So I really enjoyed those moments. So again, man, I'm really looking forward to that fight because again, before I went out to go train, before this fight would even happen, I was really high on Sadiq Yusuf too. So, like I like I liked Sadiq and I liked his fighting style as well too. So before that they made this fight, I was like, oh shit. Then they made this fight and I was like, oh shit. I was hoping they wouldn't fight each other because I like Sadiq and I also like again, I got so much love for Diego. I just hope that they didn't fight. But now that they're fighting, I'm just like, well, I gotta go with my brother Diego. So uh, I think Diego gets the win, but again, it's going to be a tough out, man. He's fighting someone like Sadiq. Sadiq is really fucking good.
Yeah.
But also at the same time, Diego Lopez is really fucking good too. So it's going to be a fun one. I can't wait. I feel like them opening up the prelims, I feel like they should be the actual featured bout on the prelims. Well, you know what? That's also, again, the placement of all these fights are like kind of put in like the way that they're ordered like doesn't it makes sense to me, but also at the same time I'm just like that fight should be right here. Wait,
Yeah.
no, well this that there's a reason why that fight's there. I'm just like sitting back, I'm like looking at it from top to bottom, man. There's only like a couple, like maybe one fight I'd be like, man, Bo Nickal should be on the prelims, but again, I don't think he should either. Like I don't think he should be on the prelims either. Like all these every single fight on here is a main card fight. Like I was like, take the prelims, you could put them on another
Oh yeah.
event, and that's a main card fight. Like the early prelims as well too. Take those prelims and put them on another card. Those are main card fights. So I'm sitting there looking at this shit, and I'm just like, man, it's kind of hard to look at this order and be like, well, Davison Figueroa, Cody Garbrandt,
Yeah.
y'all are the very first.
That's the first fight of the night. That's bananas.
Yeah, man. And again, man, I feel like this UFC 300 card uh gets a bad rap for all the shit that the expectations that people were put under. And I feel like it was a little bit like kind of led on to, by Dana a little bit. Just like Dana was every single time he's like, we got a we got a big main event, even though the main event that we have is really, really big. I think everybody took that and was like the expectations of it were just like having unrealistic expectations of the fight, just being like, oh shit, we're gonna get fucking Conor Khabib too. Oh shit, this is what we're gonna fucking get. So uh so yeah, like I look at this and I'm just like, oh shit, like this whole card, like again, like I kind of fell into the under the like I fell into that trap as well too. Looking at the card, like, man, maybe UFC 299 is a better card than UFC 300. But then I'm looking at UFC 300, I'm
Yeah.
like, nah, bro, fucking UFC 300 is the fucking card. It's the card.
Yeah.
I just think that the expectations of UFC 300 was super high. That the fact that they wanted unrealistic fights to happen, but this main, like again, this whole card again is just an absolute banger. Like again, it's a phenomenal fight card. Again, I'm not getting paid to say this, guys. I feel like a lot of people will go out there and say, "Oh no, he's only saying that because he's getting paid to say that. He's getting paid to promote." No, the fuck, I'm not.
Yeah.
No, this whole card from top to bottom is stacked.
It's nuts. The BMF fight, Max Holloway, Justin Gaethje. What's your prediction?
That is a fun fight, man. That is an absolute fun fight, and it's I know it's a different fight from Dustin Poirier to Max Holloway. Whenever Max Holloway originally went up, I think Holloway actually had a little bit of time to kind of settle into 55. But I think like the biggest discrepancy from Max at 45 to 55 was the power difference. And, you can kind of really see it from like Dustin Poirier, in the fights. They landed close to the same amount of number of punches, but you can see who was landing who was landing the hardest shots and who was affected a little bit more. And me looking at Justin Gaethje in this fight, I'm just like, so you got a cardio guy in Max Holloway. You got a guy who like will just look to hurt you at every single moment. And in Justin Gaethje, I was like, damn, I'm looking at this like it's hard for me to look at this, but again, I'm a big Max Holloway fan, and I'm riding with Max Holloway all the way. But this fight right here has me a little bit nervous if I'm a Hollow like since I'm a Holloway fan, I'm a little nervous because it's gonna be a tough fight. And again, I'm gonna be super biased in my pick, and I'm gonna say Max Holloway. But again, it's not easy at all.
Yeah, that's going to be a great fight. I feel what you're saying because I love Max too, but it's a tough fight for him. The main event for the light heavyweight title, Alex Poatan Pereira, Jamal Hill. That's the last one. Let me just get your analysis of that before we get out of here.
So man, that's gonna be a really solid fight. Uh a really solid fight. I feel Jamal Hill has a speed and power advantage. Not even not power advantage, but I feel like he's fast enough to get to Pereira, especially kind of moving up. I feel like at 85 he was a little bit faster. Talking about Pereira. At 85, he was a little bit faster, but also he was able to carry that power. He still carries that power at 205. I just feel like he's kind of a little bit slower at 205, just a tad bit slower. And I feel like that's where Jamal Hill's advantage that he's really fast and he has power, but I think he has enough power to get Poetan out of there. One thing I've been seeing a lot from Pereira is that he drops his lead hand a little bit too much for my liking. I do like the way he strikes. Like I think he's a phenomenal striker. There's just things that I see that Jamal Hill can take advantage of. Jamal Hill is a really smart fighter. He likes to look at things. He's he's one of those guys that I like to watch because he's not only just looking to kill you, he's looking to do it in a technical fashion. Doesn't matter how he does it. And again, like I really feel he'll get Pereira out of there, especially if he notices where Pereira drops his hands at. Again, everybody's afraid of that check hook, but I feel like if you time everything just perfectly, I feel like you can land. I think Jamal Hill can land the shot that puts out Pereira. It's going to be a tough task. Again, this is a tough fight for both of them because again, I feel like they both can get put out. Like Pereira has enough power to put out Hill, and Hill has enough power to put out Pereira. To me, this is more of a pick 'em fight, but I am going to go with Jamal Hill.
Okay. I can't wait for it, man. What a great card. Where are you going to watch it at?
I actually told a whole bunch of my friends that we're gonna have it here at the house. So I was like, I don't really want to go out for this fight. I want to be home. Uh, like also too, like I don't want to go out and just all of a sudden have like a whole bunch of bad food put in front of me and just be like, oh, this is all we have. I'm like, I'm trying to eat a little bit healthier, a little bit healthier for this fight, so a little bit homemade before I, can have May 19th and go out there and just fucking just eat whatever the fuck I want.
Yeah, no doubt, man. Well, enjoy the fights this weekend. It's going to be an epic card. And again, we can't wait to see you back in action. Always a pleasure talking to you, Adrian. As always, before we do sign off, I want to give you the floor. If there's anything you want to plug, anyone you want to thank, the floor is yours, bud.
Man, I got to give a big shout out to my management team, Iridium. Thank you. They've helped me elevate my career and what I do, man. Thank y'all so much. And also, whenever I was recovering from my leg, man, the biggest help I've gotten was Compex. The recovery, like the recovery system that they have, and all the gear that they sent me to help me recover, man, was beyond phenomenal. Helped me get back faster than what I was supposed to be. And also Drink HRW, man, stayed with me from hell and high water, man. Both those sponsors, man, hell and high water. And again, I'm also wearing like my lawyer's shirt, so Chris Denuna and the Denuna law firm, man, fucking they've been supporting me through hell and high water, man. So like again, man, much love to all of them. So much love.